What's up? What's going on? Welcome back to the Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. You can find me on all the social medias, simply at I am Jay Alonzo. And don't forget to follow the show, Back to the Classics podcast, at BTTC podcast on Instagram and now Twitter. And of course, I got my guy here with me, my occasional co-host, always loyal, always down,
Mr. David Neff.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. It's been a trying week, but I think my therapy, so to speak, is the show, our cine folks out there. And it's good that I got you on this episode because we really didn't have shit to talk about.
Nah.
So, we figured, what the hell. So, how's your week? What's going on?
You know what? No, it's good. Overall, everything's kind of starting to look up a little bit.
Right.
We are full ahead in the NFL draft season as always,
Right.
And that is so. Right now, it's a little weird to write anything because it's what's called NFL Combine Week, which for those of you who don't know, a select group of athletes is basically invited to work out and see how the measurables work out for specific NFL teams and to see how well they kind of set themselves up. Mm-hmm. So it's a little interesting to see how all these basically kids kind of work themselves out. And then 2 weeks after that, we have free agency, which completely screws up your NFL draft game in general.
Right.
Because you could say, this team's going to draft a quarterback, for example, because they don't have a quarterback on their team, say if you're the Minnesota Vikings. But then they go out and they sign a great quarterback. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's not that important anymore. So it's just it's semantics at this point. So right now, it's the calm before the storm because come April, right when the draft begins to happen, it's going to be nuts and it's going to be filtered in all the sports sites with all these expert opinions and mock drafts and all that jazz. So,
okay, so we live here in Las Vegas, right? So
right.
Obviously the Raiders are coming,
right.
They broke ground on the stadium, what appears to be like a month ago at this point, right?
Yeah, it's been a couple months now.
So what are you expecting in regards to the fucking traffic in the city? Oh God. Oh my God. But as far as the change of scenery, if you will, for Vegas and what the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be bringing to the table, because now we have the Las Vegas Aces, which is our WNBA team.
We also have the Vegas Golden Knights.
The Golden Knights, who are kicking ass, by the way.
Yeah.
And this is their first year out.
I'm a fan of all sports, and it's important to kind of have a good culture of things. And it's funny because you look at a city like Philadelphia. Have you ever been to Philly?
No, never.
Okay. If you ever go to Philly has one of the greatest sports cultures over there. May not be the greatest fans, but in terms of their culture, it's amazing. Part of the reason why is the proximity of all their stadiums. Mm-hmm. Literally, you have what's called the three-corner stadium. You have the Sixers, the Flyers, and the Eagles literally right across the street from each other. So if one team is doing bad, the idea is you just go to the other team.
Right.
I think it's possible for that to happen here in Vegas. Mainly because I think our city has been desperate for huge turnouts for events, and it just goes back to what the Vegas Golden Knights is kind of doing. You're talking a brand new team that this is the first year that they're in the league, and there's talk of them winning the championship. I mean, that's insane. You can't put a better Cinderella story than that because these guys were literally projected before the start of the season to only gain so many points. In this case, it was something like 47 to 48. Yeah, they blew that out the water. They're in talks of actually being in what's called round 4, which is the Stanley Cup Finals. That's insane. You can't make a better Hollywood story than that. So what I think can happen with the Raiders, to be honest, it's a little difficult to say because 3 years from now is still 3 years from now.
Right.
It could very well be where they're just not as easily accepted, or it could be a major thing here. And the only thing that I can really say that's going to be beneficial is there's only 8 games and then playoffs for them playing here in Vegas. So the traffic shouldn't be that terrible.
Oh,
no. It still will be.
I disagree. The traffic here is going to be horrible. Horrible.
It's already terrible with all the construction they've already been doing.
Right. But imagine when, the opening game, the opening ceremony.
No. I'm taking the opening game off. I'm not going to work that day, and not to watch the game. I'm going to sit down and watch it in front of my TV. But no, I'm not dealing with Vegas in general during that game.
I might take a vacation that weekend. You never know. But the reason why we're here today, what we decided to do today, we're now in the era. I know we've been in this era for a while now because it started way back. But we have rappers, MCs from way back when, taking a dab at something outside of music. Becoming a different person. And so we wanted to tackle the subject of rappers turn actors, and who's good at it, who's horrible at it. Who would we like to see take on a movie role? I have a few in mind. I wouldn't mind. Like, can you act? Let's see. Let's see what kind of chops you got. But I figure you never know where you're going until you know where you've been. So we've put together our own list of our top 5 favorites, and we'll also, call out the ones who aren't as good. So let's first talk about the actual concept of a famous rapper, no matter what persona they have, that takes a dab at acting, right?
Okay.
One of the things that's always, I don't want to say it bothers me, but it's almost like ironic that you'll get a rapper with a certain persona to play an actor, to play a character with a certain persona.
Right.
And it's almost like, so you're basically shortchanging, and you are basically putting him in a box to where he can only play this character.
Right.
And the perfect example of that would be, let's say, The Game.
Okay. Yeah.
From what I remember, the first time I've seen The Game do a movie was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Waist Deep with Tyrese and Megan Good. And he played the villain. Mm-hmm. He played the gangster hood villain. But everything after that, I probably seen him in maybe 2 other flicks in which he plays. Oh, Street Kings with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Plays a hood cat. Yeah. But then you have certain rappers with a certain persona, like LL Cool J, for example.
Right.
He never carried on the he's a thug or he's gangster.
Nah.
But he definitely had that I'm a tough dude from New York vibe.
No, definitely. That's the beauty about certain actors, certain rappers that turn into actors, because you can kind of tell that they really, really, really wanted to branch out to do as many things as they want to do. So It's kind of, to be honest, I don't know if that's really a problem with how Hollywood typecasted The Game, or if that's the way that The Game wanted to be typecasted. Because nobody, you don't. I'll put you this way: you don't turn a rapper and think that, oh, you know what I want to really do? A family flick. I really want to do something like Are We There Yet? That would be a really great start to
shout out to Ice Cube.
Right. I really want to start out my career doing that. No, if you're going to go into movies, you want to do something that's going to be cool. So, Waist Deep was okay, but Street Kings is not a really bad flick at all. It's basically Training Day all over again. It's like
a diet Training Day.
Yeah, it's a diet.
It's generic. Yeah. Very, very much so.
It's fine. And there's Keanu.
Yeah, you're right. I won't go against that. I also love when certain rappers take on that acting role, and it's so opposite of what we know you as. Right. Once again, Cube could very much be, if not the best, one of the best examples of a rapper with a certain persona, with a certain theme, but can do a goofy ass movie like Are We There Yet? Or Are We Done Yet? The Barbershop Trilogy.
Deep Blue Sea. That was goofy.
No, Cube wasn't in it. That was LL.
No, it was LL. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but Friday, the ride along movies. It's like Ice Cube 100% has so much versatility.
Oh yeah.
And then you have the 21 Jump Street movies. Oh, he's great in those. So he's almost one of those types of where. Let's be real. We'll never see Ice Cube win an Oscar anytime soon. But
he's got the best eyebrows in movies.
Absolutely, and the best and the meanest scowl you'll ever see in your fucking life.
The meanest scowl.
But he is the type of rapper, who's not afraid to take on a certain role.
Yeah,
as long as that role means something to him.
Of course, and that is something that he did for himself.
Right.
Like he. It's like he had a vision early on, and he realized that. And while he's a respectable rapper,
right.
Don't get me wrong, he just
Legend.
he is legendary. He just realized that I don't want to continue to do this and just be that guy, and instead I just want to turn myself into something more than nobody ever imagined.
Right.
It was, but at the same time, when he came out, everybody was hungry for it. When did Friday come out?
The first Friday came out in 95.
95. What was happening in the rap game in 95?
Wow. We're talking about...
We're talking the year before Tupac died. We're talking Biggie.
So gangsta rap is still a
gangsta rap
big thing at this time.
Is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was almost as if it was... Cube had this idea, and he realized that what I need to do next to really branch out is to be something that nobody expected me to be.
Right.
And that's what's great about it. It's why I think he's a lot of fun to watch in general. He's not going to win an Oscar, but man, anytime I hear a Friday movie, I just want to sit down and watch it. And it doesn't matter which Friday it is. And they can make a fourth one right now, and I almost guarantee that it'd be a #1 hit that weekend.
I would love a fourth Friday movie. Lord knows they've been talking about it forever. But at this point,
and give me fat Chris Tucker. That'd be great.
I don't. Let's be real. I don't want to fucking Rush Hour 4, but we know what's coming. But it's like if you're gonna bring back Tucker as Smokey, it's like I need to feel Smokey.
Yeah.
And let's be real. Tucker hasn't been raw Chris Tucker in years.
No, you don't want to call him Big Smoke?
He can be Big Smoke. But at the same time, it's like I prefer Smokey.
Okay.
I grew up with Smokey. But all right. So you say you have your list.
I do.
All right. So you give me your 5 through. Give me your 5 and 4.
Okay.
I give you my 5 and 4, and then you give me your 3 and 2. I give you my 3 and 2, and then we'll go #1.
All right. So one of the things about this list that I wanted to keep in mind was how good of a rapper they were, mm-hmm. versus how good of an actor they were. Because you're always going to get, and in this case, like a notable exception of mine is Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
So Marky Mark had one hit, and don't get me wrong, it put him on the map. But even he was trying to distance himself from that, and he received a nomination, Golden Globe or Oscar, I can't remember, I think both, for The Departed, which was, in my opinion, probably the pinnacle of his acting career. But does that constitute him being a great rapper turned actor, or was it literally he got out of the game as soon as he could and had to really make himself into that? So I can't put Mark Wahlberg in there.
Feel the vibration. Come on. I just want to say that really quickly. Sorry.
I will say this. My #5, who is a legend in the rap game from his early years, and in my opinion, a legend in the acting world, and has totally transformed himself now, is Yasiin Bey, or formerly known as Mos Def.
Mighty Mos.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me.
Everything about him. Like think of the movies that he was in. He was in The Italian Job, where he played kind of a memorable character that had his hearing blown out from one side, and he was kind of from one guy. Right. He was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which for us nerds, that's a really, really phenomenal book, and the movie really wasn't that bad.
Right.
And he captured the spirit of the movie. He's been in so many different things. He was in a movie with Jack Black that I loved his character. It was the it was basically a movie where they erased all the VCR tapes.
Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, Be Kind Rewind. Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
Great movie.
That movie is a lot of fun in my eyes, and that was the beauty about Mos Def. You know, he transformed himself, and he kind of made himself. And you know what's also really great. You know, he transformed himself into being this really just likable guy. Mm-hmm. Like, has anybody ever watched a Mos Def movie and be like, man, I don't really care for him?
Well, no, it's more than that. With Mos Def has this real hold on bringing a character to the point where you thoroughly believe him, who he says he is. He did a movie one time for HBO. I believe it was called something the Lord has made. It was an HBO original flick.
That the Lord made, yeah.
Yeah, it was him and Alan Rickman. God bless the dead. And Alan Rickman, you know, is who we look at as Hollywood gold, someone that's been, you know, blessing us with different characters for years.
Right.
So you take this rapper from Brooklyn and put him in a movie with this legend, and practically outshines him. It says something about you have genuine talent, you know?
It is. And it just kind of speaks to the volume and the depth that Mos Def had. And it's a shame because I really feel like his career would still be really strong today if he was still fully committed to that. Now he's committed to other projects, and I'm all for what he's decided to do. But I actually really felt like he could have really garnered like a Golden Globe nomination, or even possibly an Oscar nom. In my eyes, you know, to hit that pinnacle.
Which is funny you mentioned that, because I want to say my number 5 rapper is going to pretty much be in that same position. But go ahead, give me your number 4.
Number 4.
Before you do that, what's your favorite Mos Def performance?
Oh, Be Kind Rewind.
Lovely.
Yeah, it really is. Even though I couldn't remember the movie earlier, but it just, he played so well off Jack Black, and Jack Black is like one of the. Is such an eccentric personality, but man, they had chemistry in that movie, and it was
deep
fun.
chemistry.
It was a lot of fun. Number 4 for me. All right, so again, has to be strong in the rap game, and this may seem a little controversial, but because of how strong this franchise is, mainly because they're going to make 10 of them at this point, Ludacris.
Oh, you bastard!
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, Luda. I mean, first off, everybody knows. Okay, going through high school, Luda was the guy.
Right.
You know, you could not get away from him.
We grew up with Ludacris.
We did.
Absolutely.
It was literally before Kanye became a real big thing. And don't get me wrong, I understand College Dropout came out in 03, 04?
03.
03. Mm-hmm. So, but Luda was in the middle of this amazing rap career. And it's still amazing to think about it today. And then he, once again, just like Mos Def, he transformed himself. Now, the only reason why I put him above Mos Def is because of how strong the franchise of the Fast and Furious franchise is. Because even though he doesn't play the biggest part in the movie, he always usually gets somewhere between 20 to 30 lines. And he's usually pretty memorable. Some of that may be because of the chemistry he had with Tyrese, but a lot of it is because he was kind of he is an interesting character.
He himself is very
he's an interesting character. Mm-hmm. So it's like, in that case, I feel the franchise really took off. And he was able to kind of catch the ride on it from there. And to be honest, hold his own in a lot of senses. Favorite
Luda performance? Well, I guess you can only say Fast and Furious, but
I mean, and you know, in a lot of ways, yeah. You know, it is pretty much going to be. It's really going to be that. I mean, he had a couple other things. He was in Crash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
he was in Gamer.
I thought he was great in Crash.
He was great in Crash. You know, but as Tej Parker, like there's no doubt about it. Like, he's just that amazing with it.
Like, that's him.
Yeah, it is him. He was also great. You know what? He was also great in Hustle and Flow.
I forgot about Hustle and Flow.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you put that one out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number five. My number five is he's my number five because of the short life he lived. But going back to what you were mentioning about Mos Def, this rapper, had he been alive to this day, did more film, more acting work, he would have easily seen an Oscar. And number five is going to be Tupac.
Yep. I saw that one coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And really, it's because of this show, you do get to go back and kind of understand and respect the Tupac Shakur, the actor. Mm-hmm. Watching Gridlock, which is ultimately really a dark comedy drama.
Yeah.
But to see Tupac play a heroin addict looking to kick the habit, and the runaround that they get to have them, go to where they need to go, all the while having the gangster guy looking for them and hunting them down. It's a really, really, deep concept where, and then you watch Tupac play the character like, holy shit, Pac really has some like legit chops, And then you have put it this way, there's a scene when Tandy Newton is she's OD'd, right? Mm-hmm. So Pac and Roth, Pac did a movie with fucking Tim Roth. That's just insane to me. But they're in the phone booth trying to call the ambulance, and Pac gets on the phone. He says, "Listen, this woman been shot, a white woman. You better send some people down there. Yeah, a bunch of brothers over here yelling revolution. Send some motherfuckers down there.
Yeah,
because they know that kind of report, people are going to come immediately.
Yeah,
but in the neighborhood that they're in, where it's primarily known for drug habits, they're not fucking coming down there.
No.
But just overall, the way he was able to carry that character, I appreciate it too. Gang Related, another movie that is not perfect, but his performance in there shows so much difference in how he would convey certain emotions about stuff. Loved it. Juice. Above the Rim. Bullet. Like Pac, in his very short time, has made some pretty memorable characters.
You know how impactful you are in the community, and not just in. Man, it was such a difficult time at the time that he was alive. Mm-hmm. Especially for the black community. Mm-hmm. L.A. riots. Man, I was too young to remember that, but I can only imagine the people that were surrounded by that, and all the tension that happened, and some of the tension that's carried over into the era that we are in now.
Right.
To see him being a voice of reason and being a voice of this is why we're here, and you could see that he was a star. Right. And of course, rapping aside, he would have been a major player in the Hollywood game. I'm not sure if there was anybody with more potential than Tupac Shakur going into the Hollywood game and more momentum.
You've seen it coming.
Yeah.
And once he got over the crazy lifestyle he had to live, that's where he was going. I thoroughly believe that, and he would have been fantastic at it.
I agree. I mean, dude, he was 25 when he died.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's assume that he lived 20 years from now. 20 years from when he died, he would have only been 45. That's a Marvel movie right there for
I don't think Pac would play it in a Marvel flick.
Nobody would put that in there. But with the power,
Tupac playing like Black Panther.
No, he wouldn't play Black Panther, but yeah, no, he could have. He could have. No, but that's what I'm saying. This entire past month, excuse me, mm-hmm. With such the impact that Black Panther has had, and it really has, and it's funny because somebody brought up to me and they were like, he's not even the first black superhero that came out, but it's like, yeah, but the difference between what Black Panther and what Blade, for those of you who don't remember, came out was that it emphasized the entire culture, the Afrikaans culture, right, that came out, and that it was powerful. It was extremely powerful. But I will say this. If Tupac would have been alive today, that movie would have been done 10 years ago.
I believe that.
Maybe not that. Maybe not the Black Panther title, but the emphasis on the African culture.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Honestly, we would have been better off for it.
Think so.
Yeah. I really think so.
My number 4 is going to be Andre 3000. Now,
I just watched Semi-Pro the other day.
okay, so Andre 3000 is a rapper I've always wanted to see him tackle something huge. With that being said, I've also always wanted him to play Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
When I see 3 Stacks, I see fucking Hendrix.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
And so when we got the opportunity to see him play Jimmy in All Is By My Side, which, in all accounts, wasn't a horrible movie, but the fact that you couldn't get clearance on the music, you had to just create this story.
Right.
Which
is what the biggest problem with that movie
absolutely. Jimi Hendrix, Andre 3000 was born to play Jimi Hendrix.
He was.
I mean, and to really miss a golden opportunity like that, you know, it's sad, but at the same time, what I got out of the movie was 100% he fucking has Jimi Hendrix down.
Of course.
I mean, he has him down, you know what I mean?
He does.
So if there was ever a time when I would love somebody to take another crack at a Hendrix story, Andre 3000 is your man to play him, for sure.
I think so. I think what he could do, honestly, is I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but there's a blues artist. His name's Gary Clark Jr. It's phenomenal. I've seen him before, and I feel like he could literally tell the story of Jimi Hendrix if he was to take on, say, a directing role, you know, or if he still wanted to play Jimmy. If he still wanted to play Jimmy with Gary Clark, oh man,
wow,
it's a revival in my eyes. It really is. That's how good, in my opinion, Gary Clark Jr. is. Now, the problem is he doesn't sell himself in that way whatsoever.
Well, he has a very specific fan base.
Exactly.
You know?
That's my problem.
So he's one of those ones where Gary Clark will probably never sell out the Garden, but he'll definitely sell out a nice theater size. You know?
But you know, when I think of Andre 3000, the other movie I think about is Four Brothers, which obviously Tyrese. Which
caters to the reason why I picked him, because Four Brothers, Semi-Pro, Idlewild, the Outkast movie.
Right.
Not a perfect movie, but thoroughly entertaining to me. You know, as a guy that grew up as an Outkast fan.
Yeah.
He shines in it. Now, about Four Brothers, though. Four Brothers was a movie that really does show 3000 as he's a fucking actor.
He could, yeah.
Very credible. He could be an actor.
You know, and that's what's so sad about it. It was like he did the Hendrix movie, and then he just he didn't want to do it anymore. And it's like, man, you know, if you get together with a strong ensemble cast, okay, Four Brothers. Think of who is all in that. You have Andre Benjamin. You have Mark Wahlberg. You have Garrett Hedlund. For a little while was thinking everybody he was going to be the man, you know. And then of course Tyrese and Tyrese Gibson has obviously been part of my number 4 with Luda in Fast and the Furious franchise. But that's what I'm saying. If he would decide to join a strong ensemble cast and let him regrow that confidence, man, he could be a real player.
Absolutely. Now, my favorite role from Andre 3000 is going to have to be Four Brothers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Jeremiah Mercer, yeah.
Absolutely. Number 3, who you got?
All right. Let's switch it up a little bit. So, number 3, she was a major player in the early 1990s. And came out with the very famous Unity.
I know where you're going with this.
Yep. And then she became literally such a strong actress. It's Queen Latifah, and it's easy. It's so easy when you think about it with her. You don't realize how talented that woman is until you get a little bit of stats. For example, she has earned in music, film, and television a Grammy Award, an Emmy, a Golden Globe, 3 Screen Actor Guild Awards, 2 NAACP Image Awards, and an Academy Award nomination. That's insane. That's Viola Davis. That's Viola Davis territory.
Of the hip-hop world.
Of the hip-hop world. It really is.
My God.
It's stunning to think about. And the thing is that there's so many movies that you could think of. Barbershop 2. And then the spin-off of it, Beauty Shop, which wasn't that good. But bringing down the house.
Which, in all accounts, wasn't the best movie.
No, but it was fun.
It was fun. It was definitely a fun movie. For me, Queen Latifah, in regards to acting, Chicago, she was great in Chicago. I'm not a huge musical guy, but for me, Queen Latifah, the Living Single sitcom.
Yeah.
You know, every week she just got better and better. And then on top of that, dude, iconic role, Cleo and fucking set it off.
Yeah.
You know, like that's, to me, that is the quintessential Queen Latifah role. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's not taken away from other stuff that she's done.
No.
Even Girls Trip, she's great in Girls Trip recently.
Right.
But when you talk about a strong female character with flaws, set it off.
Yeah.
Easily set it off.
Yeah. You know, she's played in so many. Okay. Andre 3000 was mainly known for having a really strong role in Four Brothers, which was an action movie, and then he had Jimmy, which is a drama biopic, and then he had a comedy. Queen Latifah literally takes that and shuffles a 52-card deck and has done it all. Mm-hmm. She has done a horror movie with The Bone Collector. She has done action movies with which was kind of an action comedy, but Taxi Driver, for example. She's been in
which wasn't that great, but I'll take it.
No, but I mean, but she was in it, you know, and she was one of the tickets on it.
Yeah,
it was her and Jimmy Fallon, which whatever you want to say about Jimmy Fallon, but she was a ticket on it, you know, and of course Chicago, she was so strong in that movie, and that's the movie that's going to win it for me for her. Because it's one of those movies that it's flawed in a lot of ways, and yet all she does is just take it from one level to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's so tough because it's like she lost that award to her co-star. So it just tells you the impact that movie had in the early 2000s.
Right.
And it's funny because I feel like everybody forgets that she was in it. And it's like, nah, she was pretty prominent.
I'm not going to lie. I often do forget about Chicago. You know, it's just, like I said, I'm not into musicals like that, but I do remember the impact that the movie had at the time. Mm-hmm. We were in high school when it came out.
Yeah, it was. It was 2003.
So, all right, here we go. So your favorite Queen Latifah role is Chicago.
It's going to be Chicago.
All right. So give me your number 3. No, it's your
that
number
is
2.
My number 3.
Oh, that is
number 2.
Oh, all right. So yeah, your number 2. There we go.
Okay. I'm purely this guy had one of the best. It was almost an R&B. It was very R&B, and he had a really, really good role through there. But his acting career, I think, hasn't even hit his peak yet, and I think it's only going to get bigger and better. And he's been in a lot of things now. He was in one of his earlier roles. He's an action star at this point. One of his latest roles, how about that? One of his latest roles was John Wick 2, and he played a very prominent role.
Oh, you bastard. You're going to take my pick.
Yeah!
Take my pick. Damn.
It's going to be Common.
Oh,
it's going to be Common.
Not Common Sense. You took my pick.
Common was, first off, you know, he's also been a nominee for Best Original Song in the Academy Awards twice. Mm-hmm. He has produced so many things, and the thing is, it's like he's there, like he's ready for the next big thing. I mean, you know, when you think of his early career in his rap with Erykah Badu in "Love of My Life," you know, and then just see where he like went from there less than 5 years later from Smoking Aces, American Gangster, John Wick 2, I've already mentioned, but he was also in Date Night, Terminator Salvation. It's like he's a budding star. And it's like he just needs he needs that one little break. It's almost like I was actually surprised that he hasn't been in a major production
as the lead.
Right.
Well, I know at one point he was being courted to play. I want to say Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Yeah,
that's right. Hal Jordan, and he would have knocked it out the park in my eyes, but Marvel didn't want to invest in that, and they wanted to go the Ryan Reynolds route instead, which was a major blunder for him.
Yeah, because the movie itself,
it's garbage.
Just sucked. but yeah, I totally dig that. So, what's your favorite common character?
Man, I'm gonna say. See, he's been in a lot.
For me, I'm gonna say Smoking Aces. I think,
Smoking
as
Aces?
flawed as the movie
Sir
is.
Ivy?
Sir Ivy is a character that he just didn't take no shit.
You're right.
And and it was almost like seeing Common kind of play that gangster hitman-ish kind of role was completely opposite of who we know him as. You know? And like I said, Smoking Aces is far from a perfect movie, but it was fun. It was a fun flick. And Common and his character in that movie it did it for me, period.
I'm going to say as James Bevel in Selma.
Wow.
He was very. That movie did not get the respect that it deserved, and the main reason why is they're just it didn't hit what it needed to hit. Mm-hmm. Most importantly, and it's a shame because there was a lot of really great roles in it. I mean. It's a shame that movie didn't get more attention to it because I really feel like that's what kind of took Common off his course a little bit. It's like he needed like a John Wick 2 to kind of get his career back. But he was really strong as James Bevel, and I really liked it. And Selma. Selma is one of those movies that it should have had a bigger impact than it didn't have. Because that was the same year that 12 Years a Slave came out. It's like everybody remembered that movie, but it's like it didn't even get an Oscar nom.
Well, don't forget, Summer was one of those, I don't want to say saving graces, if you will, but definitely a movie that it with its subject matter impacted us in a different way.
Right.
We're now in a place where like we're fucking tired of slave movies.
Right.
Like we get it. That's what happened. But even though I'm tired of it, it still needs to be told. The story still needs, because as much as America tries to forget that it actually happened, these stories need to be told. But
you bring up a good point, and it's why people don't realize like how important a movie like Black Panther was. And I know I've kind of hit on it a couple times this cast, but it's really going to change the landscape in my eyes because. It's the first movie that featured a really strong all-black cast that did not have to deal with a barbershop. It didn't have to deal with slavery, and it didn't have to deal with it didn't have to deal with being poor, being a slave, or like having kind of this like goofy comedy that goes on. Instead, it was like it was that movie that's like, I had some laughs, but it was like, no, we have strong personalities, we have strong characters. Everything about it's a sign of strength. We are Wakanda. We are the most technological advanced race in the known universe here on Earth.
Right.
It's like, and seeing that, you can really resonate with that. Because at the end of the day, you can color it whatever way you want, but Black Panther was a fun movie, and to see movies like Selma and 12 Years a Slave, it does get a little tiresome. They already did that before in some ways, but that being said, Common does deserve another break.
He does. He absolutely does. My number 2.
Number 3.
Oh, my number 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, I'm all over the place. Okay, so my number 3. My number 3 was a bit of a toss-up because I felt like he's him in everything he does. But if he's become such a household name, seeing him appear in anything, like, oh, that's what's up. So he still has that impact where, like, I look forward to seeing him do stuff.
Sure.
And I gotta go Snoop.
Snoop?
Listen, Snoop Dogg is not the greatest actor. We'll be real about it. But
Snoop Dogg's not an actor.
He's not an actor. But the fact that he still takes on these roles to really play himself.
Right.
But even him playing himself fits in to whatever theme of the movie is. Like, for example, when they announced Snoop was going to play Huggy Bear in Starsky and Hutch, the movie's fucking horrible.
Oh, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's not that bad, no. But Snoop as Huggy Bear, it just fits so well.
No,
you know?
it's perfect. It's a glove.
Perfect. Snoop's done terrible shit.
Sure.
Bones.
Soul playing.
Soul playing, yeah. But at the same time, very small, minimal roles. But he had a cool impact like Training Day.
Right.
Another good Snoop.
He's had a couple. What was
here we go. Baby Boy.
Yeah.
As Rodney. He's had some really strong characters, Granted, it's Snoop playing Snoop, but the way Snoop will put himself into that character, I rock with this. Is cool for me,
I love Snoop, and I have a hard time with people that actually just like don't understand like who he was or what he was about. But it's like this, he has refused to walk away from the spotlight, but at the same time, he doesn't care about the spotlight. Everybody just keeps pointing it to him, and he just continues to be who he was. I feel like ever since because he's been in the game since '92,
right?
Since then, he's always been the same guy. And the thing is that he hasn't really needed to make himself different or make himself likable. He was always a really likable guy.
He was always Snoop.
He's always Snoop.
He was always Snoop. And no matter what, nobody can take Snoop away from Snoop.
No.
And he's always been that character. He's always been that rapper who will take on movie roles that he doesn't become a burden to the movie.
No.
He's not an eyesore. You dig what I'm saying?
No, he's not.
So that was my number 3. My favorite Snoop role is... My favorite Snoop role is going to have to be Rodney.
Rodney.
Yeah, the way he brings that character to be to the point where he's been somebody that we've all known.
Right.
And so, Rodney's going to be that guy. So, is it my number 3 or number 2?
That's your number 3.
All right.
I'm gonna say Huggy Bear for him.
Nice.
It was just such a good role. Although shout out to the of course playing Blue and Training Day.
Blue and Training Day. He didn't say much, but he said enough.
It was impactful.
Very much so. My number 2. Okay, so my number 2 is I don't want to cheat and have, like a double for number 2, but you can't really put one without the other. Even though they've done different movie roles. But I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to say Method Man and Redman.
That's fair.
I think that's pretty fair. Cause really,
I'll give you that.
They're almost like a double package, but really what sells Method Man, it's really Method Man I want to concentrate on. But when they're together, for example, the classic How High.
Right.
And it's crazy to even say today How High is a classic.
Right.
How High is a classic.
It's a little weird, but
it's a little weird, but I will take it. It's all good. With Method Man first, Method Man has done crazy great roles as far as like TV and film.
Yeah.
The Wire, Oz. Oh my God. The Whackness with
he had this role in Hancock at the very, very end of the movie where he just say he like tried to play this thug and it wasn't working, but he had this one really, really, really funny line in the movie.
I think that's Mike Epps you're talking about.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Man,
my caps.
Man, I'm mixing up everybody today. What is with me today?
They both have goatees, so I guess they kind of look alike. But anyway, but Method Man is one of those characters. He's one of those rappers who can really be versatile in a lot of different things. He's done comedy very well. He's done drama very well.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he has a lot of charm, a lot of charisma. Now you flip that to Redman, and Redman is a rapper turned actor that I want to see him do other things.
Right.
But I want his main thing to be comedy.
Right.
Redman can be funny as hell. And not only that, he's a charm to watch on screen.
Right.
You know?
No, I agree.
And I keep referencing here we go. I keep referencing How High, but was it Bride of Chucky? No, Seed of Chucky. One of the two.
I think it's Bride.
You sure? I think it's Seed.
You might be right.
Anyway, but seeing him on other things.
It is Seed. It is Seed.
Yeah, seeing him on How High the Show and just various things, he'll just pop up in. He does stick out.
Right.
And not because that's Redman playing this character. Like he really does play this character to a T.
Right.
Favorite Redman role would be How High.
Right.
Favorite Method Man role would be between what's his character's name? I can't think of his character's name. He plays Josh Peck's supplier in The Whackness.
Oh, Cheese.
Was it Cheese?
Yeah. He's Melvin Cheese Wagstaff.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So yes, it was Cheese.
I would actually say Tug Daniels for it's gonna be How High for Redman, but for Method Man, I do remember Tug Daniels and the TV show Oz.
Yes.
If you guys ever saw that,
Ruthless motherfucker.
It was rough, but it was good. It was very good.
So before we get into our number ones, I was gonna cheat and say Will Smith was my number one, but that's kind of cheating.
Then that's gonna be our number one.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna cheat because Will Smith is a rapper turned actor, but at the same time, I was like, all right, whatever. But anyway,
what do you mean? He produced 9 albums?
Yeah, but let's be real. We know Will Smith.
No, of course, as the actor. But come on, everybody owned Big Willie's house. Everybody owned Big Willie's house.
I may have had it on tape, whatever. But let's cover a few people who are bad at this thing we call acting, and then furthermore, we'll also throw out a few people we would like to take on a role.
Okay, go ahead.
So for me, bad rappers. Question: rappers who just simply can't act. Incredible rapper, makes incredible music. I am a genuine fan. Been a fan since way back. I gotta say T.I.
T.I.?
T.I. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not that good.
Okay, listen. So, ATL. I remember when ATL first came out, and
sure.
and it was an event, but at the same time, it was like they're selling it really off of the fact that it's T.I.'s movie, right?
Right.
And I remember watching. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely your first movie because you're bland,
right?
But then you watch American Gangster. You watch Takers. Good God. You watch, oh my God.
He was in Get Hard.
Get Hard. He's solid in Get Hard, and he's also solid.
That's like the last time I see him be solid.
He's also solid in, Ant-Man.
Right.
But
no, he is solid in that.
But he has, but besides those two, T.I., I feel like he does a lot of overacting.
Yeah.
Like, you're really trying to, let me know you're this guy.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I guess cool, but,
Look, I like ATL.
I did too.
I think ATL is a good movie, and I really hope that sequel is done for it. But, yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on T.I. Like, there are times where he's really stiff, and then he tries to act like hard or tough or whatnot. It doesn't work for me, not all the time. But and then in some roles, like I feel like if he would branch out more into comedy, because he started to do that a little bit with Get Hard, and he did that with Ant-Man, I think he would have a much more successful career.
I agree. Who you got?
DMX. Easy.
Oh,
Easy.
No. I didn't want to mention DMX because he's a bad actor, but he makes some good shit. Like Belly is a classic. I love the movie. Like
Cradle to the Grave. Exit Wounds. Never Die Alone.
Romeo Must Die. Never Die Alone. Which, by the way, I will defend Never Die Alone. I actually do like the movie a lot.
Okay, but he raps. He raps and acts the exact same way. He's just yelling at you. There is no calmness to DMX. Like look. Okay, when he came out in our high school years, everybody was all for him, and I was for him too. Because he resonated some hip hop in there that you were like, yeah, no, I really feel this. Like X going to give it to you. Immediately, I think of that song and it pumps me. It pumps me up to this day. I'll be driving home from California and I'll be like, hey, but he's yelling at you the entire time.
What?
You know what? He should have been a drill sergeant. If they made a Major Payne 2, I would want DMX.
No.
But don't make it a comedy. Make it a horror flick. And just put the PAYNE into PAIN, and then just do that. But no, he yells at you.
DMX playing doing any kind of comedy.
All he does is yell at you.
I can't see him playing a drill sergeant though.
Yeah, he'd be great at that.
Stand up, you maggot! What? State your name, rank, serial number. Anyway, but no, DMX. Okay, so he's not a strong actor. No. But to give him he
wasn't even a strong rapper in my eyes.
But give him a legit pass, if you will, for Belly, for Never Die Alone. I like Never Die Alone. Sorry, I do.
It wasn't that good.
And then as far as Cradle Grave was horrible. Exit Wounds was decent, and he's decent in it.
Exit Wounds. He's okay in it, but let's face it, you weren't running to the theaters to watch Exit Wounds to see.
I didn't see Exit Wounds until it came on tape,
and that's fine, and that's where it just needs to sit at. Just sits on tape, and you don't need to ever watch it again, because that was the last really strong, or the last decently strong Steven Seagal movie, and now where is he?
He's fat, trying to avoid jail, apparently. All right,
you got another one?
Do I have another one?
Because I got one.
I think I have one more, and it's only because the two movies I've seen her in, she just is not giving it to me at all.
Oh, it's gonna be Nicki Minaj.
Easily Nicki Minaj, and it's like, oh, she's there. That's cool, and it's no shade on her, but. Yeah, no, I'm good.
It just doesn't work.
You do nothing for me.
I saw her. I've only seen her in The Other Woman. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that movie. Okay, first off, I have a problem with that movie because they really did my boy from Game of Thrones dirty, and it's like I was so irritated at the end of the movie that I was like, okay, this is kind of awesome because Kate Upton is really hot and whatnot, but no, I'll never watch this again. But she was very forgettable. I don't even remember her character's name from that movie. Do you?
I've actually never seen The Other Woman.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So even better.
But I did see Barbershop 3, and she's pretty much Nicki Minaj. So, all right.
I got one. And this is going to be a little bit controversial, but only because I actually died laughing when it finally happened. But 50 Cent. Okay. I know it's a little controversial, but because he has been strong in certain things, and I will admit that. But it's like he just could never get it right. The only movie that I can actually say that he did decent in was his own story. The Get Rich or Die Trying. It was his story.
It's always good when you're telling your own story. 'Cause, you know.
Okay.
You were there.
Have you seen Den of Thieves?
I did.
Okay. Did you like it?
Okay. So I'm torn between it because I did like it, but you can't help but have that beat for beat comparison with Heat.
Sure.
Like,
no. It's modern day Heat.
Right.
No doubt about it. And I don't have a problem with that.
that like him in it.
No.
He didn't say or do much to really
Exactly.
stand out for me.
Okay. Here's the part that cracked me up most about that movie. Spoiler alerts, by the way. Total spoiler alerts. So, letting you know now, spoiler alerts. At the end of the movie, okay, I'm sitting there with my girlfriend, and we're watching this movie, and of course, 50 Cent gets shot and killed.
Yes.
All right? And she she says out loud, she goes, isn't this guy known for like getting shot up like a whole bunch of times and then surviving afterwards anyway? And I'm just like, oh, that was a little dark because you actually talk about his personal history there. And it's
Not here.
not here,
You know,
but
but,
know.
Yeah. All right.
So to see them do that in the movie, I was just like, because he didn't like have to die. You know what was funny with that movie? They have Pablo Shriver in it, and every time I see him, I can't help but just think of Porn Stash from Orange Is the New Black because that's who he is.
Yeah, because we've been pretty much,
we've been subjugated to Porn Stash.
Yeah, that's who he is to me. But he did play a pretty solid,
no, he's fine.
villain too.
No, I liked it. You know who he looked like? He looked like that guy from Lost, Matt
Fox.
Yeah, Matt Fox.
Where's he at now?
He's not. He's not anywhere.
Yeah. but I will say this though, in regards to 50. He's not the strongest actor, absolutely. But he has turned in a few roles
Sure.
that are okay. Like you said, Get Rich, where you're telling your own story. I get it. You know what? I'm not gonna flex. He can't act. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not even gonna even try to defend it. But all right. So with that being said, give me 2 rappers you would like to see take on a role.
Okay, this is a little bit of cheating, but only because we only got we got to sniff at it once. It was amazing, and it never happened again. But I'm actually going to say Eminem. I would love to see him do another role, and it's unfortunate because when I think of the movie 8 Mile, I felt like that was and consider me uncultured in this case.
Okay.
But it was what introduced me to rap battles. It introduced me to Detroit, and I mean Detroit. Like I know that's not all of Detroit, but it's like every time I see 8 Mile, that's what I picture. That's just what the burbs is like over there. And the thing is, I've been to Detroit, and it's totally not like that. But the way that his portrayal in that movie and how strong he was, and then of course he produces the great song afterwards, and the
Oscar-winning song,
the Oscar-winning song, and the fact that we only get that sniff of it and nothing else. There were always rumors of him getting back into it, but it never formulated.
He was supposed to play the Gyllenhaal character for Southpaw.
That's right, he sure was.
He just did the soundtrack.
And I like Southpaw.
I did too.
Jake Gyllenhaal is always going to bring it when he can. But it's like, I want to see Eminem in more movies. That's really what I want, And I'd like to see where he would go from there,
I agree. I wouldn't mind seeing M take another crack at it. He's, you think about M and 8 Mile the way you think about Lauryn Hill's Miseducation album.
Agreed.
It's like yeah. Legendary, that was only the one thing you have, as far as...
Also agree.
Lauryn Hill is a legend, but, let's be real. You have, outside the Fugees, you have one album that we know you for.
Right.
With M, has a whole catalog of great music, but your memorable acting role was in 8 Mile. I mean, he did The Wash with Dre and Snoop, and he also had a little small cameo in Funny People. But your, lead role is 8 Mile.
Right. Imagine if he was like okay, for some odd reason I keep picturing like these Seth Rogen movies where they like always get the random celebrity. Like when I think of This Is the End, at the very end, spoiler alert again, they get the Backstreet Boys. Okay, look, it's the Backstreet Boys, who cares? But it's the fact that they were able to like be ballsy and actually go out and try to get that. Why can't they do that with Eminem? Like, why can't somebody like literally say, "Look, all you gotta do is film me a 3-minute song. I'll pay you $5 million."
I mean, it's Eminem today. It's not like it's Eminem back then when he was, had his problems and whatnot. But it's Eminem today.
Right.
So what are you doing? So I'll give you Eminem to counteract that one. Before you give me another one, I would love to see my man Kendrick Lamar take on a role.
I would. Man.
Now here's the role. Here's the role I would like him to do. And the reason
Please do.
I'm going to cheat a little bit because there was already talks about him doing this a good while back. So I envision Kendrick Lamar's role as the protagonist in a movie themed around the riots in L.A. after the Rodney King trial. I feel as if, and as what's the word I'm looking for? Typical you would you think that would possibly be for a Kendrick, but
Right.
he would bring that sense of levity, life, be an amazing soundtrack. But you get to see him To Pimp a Butterfly mixed with Good Kid, Mad City to bring these emotions and these type of characters to life, that we can now visually see as opposed to listening on a record,
Right.
And I feel like Kendrick is at the place in his career where he could do something like this and be great at it.
I agree. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite artists of all time at this point. And it's like every month I have to listen to his record at least once. And just it gives a sense of weight and reality. And it's funny because you mentioned that. You mentioned the LA riots, and I actually can't picture him in a movie in that. I can picture him doing that as a documentary and doing an outreach community program as a documentary for that and like where everybody is at now from it. And that, I think he would actually just knock out the park. But in terms of a movie, it's tough for me it's tough for me because I can definitely see him be a movie star, but I can't tell you what movie it would be.
Okay, I give you that.
But no, I totally give you it. It's
now, who do you got over there?
Rapper to turn to actor?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make this a good pick because I cheated on Eminem, and he totally stole Kendrick there.
You've been stealing shit all night. So
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This whole show you've been stealing all my things right now.
Give me a second on this, because this takes a little bit of work. See, it's funny because I almost feel like going, but it's like I feel like I would have saw him in something already. I was going to say something like, I don't know, Dr. Dre, but I feel like I've already seen him in something.
Well, even in a few things.
Yeah, that's why I thought. Man, you got me stumped.
Well,
you know what? J. Cole.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
I think he's really evolved himself as a person at this point. And because, he was, it was kind of teenage rap when he was kind of coming out. Mm-hmm. And now there's again, it's like that's the impact that Kendrick Lamar had. It's like the minute he dropped in and got big, and after To Pimp a Butterfly came out, everybody had to step up their game because they realized that they just could not continue the way that was. And to be honest, it's made hip-hop sound better ever since. But it's like, and with J. Cole, his latest record, man, it was just it was heavy. It really was. And it was so strong. Now, again, I don't know what I would envision him as. Mm-hmm. I would probably prefer comedy to start out with.
Okay.
He would actually probably benefit from a barbershop-like movie more than anything, where again ensemble cast and to talk about culture. And
I feel like J. Cole would fit into a barbershop movie though.
Yeah,
honestly, I believe he would.
I think he would. I think he'd be amazing in it. But again, don't really know where I would place him at. How about you? You got another one?
I had another one, but did I have another one? I don't think I did. I think I just really want to see Kendrick take on something, actually. But as far as other rappers I want to see do more stuff, no.
No, you good?
Nope, I got nobody. I'm good.
So you're just going to leave me out here on my own little rap?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had one lined up, but I literally forgot.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, so we'll just move on. All right, so here we are. We're at our number one. I feel like we have the same number one. Let's be fucking real about it. But I'll let you give me your number one first.
Okay, it's pretty clear. It's going to be Will Smith. You know, he produces 9 records, and then he goes out and he literally here's how impactful Will Smith was. Mm-hmm. In 2007, they called him the most powerful actor right now, and it really was. It's a shock that he hasn't actually won an Oscar yet.
Nominated twice.
He was. Mm-hmm. Ali, he should have won in my eyes. Ali, he made the spirit of Ali come right back out, and it's unfair. You know, now with his career, he's like, okay, I tried going the Oscar route. Right. Now I'm just going to kind of do whatever. So, you know, he produced Suicide Squad, and it was whatever. You know, honestly, it's forgettable.
I saw it.
It's forgettable. And you know, he's going to kind of do his own thing. He's going to kind of produce, you know, his own brands now. Right. You know, especially with his kids, and trying to see like what that is going to wind up becoming, because it could be amazing, or it could be, you know, the weirdest experiment of Scientology I've ever seen. Right. But that's just how impactful Will Smith is. You know, he was the star of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, and he carried that show for like 7 seasons, you know, and he was kind of a nobody walking into that, and he exploded, and he hasn't. I remember, again, I brought this up earlier, but I remember when Big Willie Style was first announced, I was in line ready to buy that. I was ready, and I wanted every piece of it. And I know it's not the greatest, but it resonated.
I'm not going to sit here and admit it, but continue.
But that's a thing, like being somebody that is uncultured in this case, you know, that was almost a sense of introduction into that. And the thing is that he's been fun throughout his entire career. Right. You know, there's been so many things that he's been fun in. Men in Black, he was a lot of fun in. Pursuit of Happiness, that movie actually, I don't have kids.
And it moved me.
And it moved me.
Right.
You know, he's done so much, and it's fine where he's at now. Right. You know, I don't really think he needs to. Honestly, if he doesn't ever get an Oscar, he never gets an Oscar. Some of the best actors I know never get an Oscar. Some of the best players I know in the NFL never get a Super Bowl ring. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't had, in my opinion, the biggest impact of rapper turned actor to this day.
Very true. Favorite Will Smith flick? Favorite Will Smith role?
It's going to be Ali.
Wow. Oh, wow, yes, so much to choose from. I'm going to say favorite Will Smith role. Oh, man.
There's a lot of them.
I think I'm going to have to go with Pursuit of Happiness.
There's nothing wrong with that pick.
Yeah. I was going to say Mike Lowry, but I'm going to take
Mike Lowry.
I'm going to take Pursuit of Happiness because, as Chris Gardner, he moves you. Even when I didn't have a kid, you know, you respected his fight, you know what I'm saying, to support him and his son, you know? Right. And can't nobody make you cry really on cue like Will Smith. So let's be real about it.
You know, he's been in so many great things. I mean, I'm gonna read just a small list of what he's done since '95, and I'm gonna end it in 2006 at this point. In order. Bad Boys. Yep. Independence Day. Mm-hmm. I keep forgetting he's in Independence Day. He's a big star in it. Men in Black. Jim. Enemy of the State.
A secret gem.
Yeah. Underrated
secret gem.
Wild Wild West. Say whatever you want about the movie. Legend of Bagger Vance.
Horrible.
Okay, that's fair. Ali.
Jim.
Amazing. Men in Black 2.
Not great.
Not great, but it was fine.
Tolerable.
Bad Boys 2.
Great.
iRobot. Underrated.
Decent. I enjoyed it.
Shark Tale, which if you don't watch kids movies, that's one thing. But
I like Shark Tale.
Hitch.
Good for the time.
Right. And
Perfect date movie.
And then Pursuit of Happiness.
Jim.
Exactly. You know, he's knocked it out the park for a huge 10-year period. And the thing is, it's not like I'm not really forgetting anything. He just hasn't really pushed that anymore.
Lately.
He doesn't need to.
But now we have him playing the genie in Atlanta, which I think is going to be his most toughest role ever.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know if he can pull that off. I think it's very possible for him to pull it off. But, dude, 1995, I think Robin Williams and I think Genie. Like, to me, that's Robin.
You think Aladdin, the first thing you think is Genie, like, oh, like that was Robin Williams.
Exactly.
He's the movie for us, you know. So
exactly,
I totally get it. Now, my number one, because we already talked about him, so
Sure.
I'm gonna go out, come on out and say it. It's Cube.
Cube.
Because while Will Smith is the one who championed in the rapper turned actor, also with Ice-T as well, but Cube gives you something in almost everything he does.
Agreed.
You know? And then you look at his track record. I'm not going to read off, from 90s to now, but you can just dart him out. The man has he has more franchises than some of your most A-list talent out here. The Friday franchise. The Are We There, Are We Done Yet franchise.
Boys in the Hood.
Well, that's not a franchise, but
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. But like, the Ride Along franchise, the Barbershop franchise. Like this man creates so much. And then you have the movies, the one that does like the Boys in the Hoods or the
Right.
Dangerous Ground or the Glass Shield or, he's in Triple X too.
Right.
But we won't speak on it. But Ghost of Mars, we won't speak on that either. But
he's in Triple X 3.
he is. Oh shit. Oh
So
God.
you kind of have to speak on.
Oh, God.
Did you watch Fist Fight with him?
I did, and
Man, I loved it.
And I really enjoyed it.
I loved it.
And I went until like this is gonna fucking suck. I really enjoyed it.
I could not stop laughing at it, especially with when he took the axe to the student's desk. I was like, how many of our teachers wanted to do that in the past? And now that we want to arm our teachers with guns, don't do that. Just give them axes and watch what happens.
Especially coming from Mojave. I know a few teachers that would easily swing axes on fucking buddy in a heartbeat. But yes, like Ice Cube is one of those ones. Like I said, he ushered in the era of the rapper turned actor who still does music.
Right.
Will Smith doesn't really do music like that anymore. But
No.
But with Cube, you can never ever be in a worry like you will never get another Ice Cube record, even though they don't always be great. But still, to know that he still lives in the booth whenever he has time to get in the booth,
Sure.
I love that.
Do you think there will ever be somebody as impactful as what Ice Cube did for the rapper turned actor community? I think the only person that could have possibly had done that in the past would have been Tupac.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But from what Ice Cube had to do, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody now. And mainly because it had to be like a YouTube personality going into acting.
Right. I feel
Weird
as
world
if
we live in.
I feel as if now, even with Cube now, Cube is still the 21 Jump Street movies. Cube can still get a role and make it his own.
Right.
And not be like, granted, it's Ice Cube.
Of course.
The fucking scowl. It's Ice Cube, we know. But he definitely gives his all with every role. When I found out that Marvel was looking at him to play J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man, I'm like, at first I was like, nah. But then I was like, wait a minute. He could totally play J. Jonah Jameson.
Totally could.
And it's really based off of the 21 Jump Street movies.
Of course.
Angry Black Captain? Yes. Hell yeah. I would love to see that, And then of course the fact that Cube was always open to trying different things.
Yes.
We never thought we'd see Ice Cube play in Are We There Yet,
Exactly.
And really champion the shit as well.
It's funny because remember when Vin Diesel came out with the pacifier,
Mm-hmm.
I just kept thinking in there, man, this role would have been so much better with just Ice Cube just playing this role. It would have been that much better. The movie would have been a lot more fun. And then if Vin Diesel would just continue Triple X, because it's, in my opinion, it is a black mark on Ice Cube's career, but it's like, it's not even that bad of a black mark. It's just
Not really. 'Cause he still was able
he was
to,
fine.
to
in
press
it.
on to it.
It just the movie wasn't that good.
Horrible. Well, this was fun.
It was.
This was fucking
It
fun.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, David, you're back next week.
I'll be here next
We
week.
have a very special guest on next week. You've heard his voice before, so I won't say his name just yet. Once again, the Back to the Classics Instagram page and now Twitter is up. Follow us at BTTC Podcast. Of course, I am Jay Alonzo. That's all your Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Anything that's social, you can find me on. Just come on in, holler at me, say hello. I'll talk back. David Neff, where can people find you?
You can find me at drafttech.com, where we continue to focus in on our mock drafts and get ready for draft season as it gets ready to wrap up here at the end of April. And, of course, you can always find me on Instagram at David Neff Transforms.
Nice. What do you got going on for this weekend?
This weekend? Oh, man. I don't know yet. I think I want to catch, because there's movies that have been kind of pushed to the background that I think I need to catch up on. Game Night being one of them.
I want to see it. I heard it's great.
I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it's a lot of fun.
Also, I need to check out Mute on Netflix.
I do too. You know what? There's a lot on Netflix I need to watch. There's literally hundreds of movies that I need to watch, and I feel like I never have time to do so.
Well, that's our picks for our rapper turned actors. Once again, my guy David Neff and myself would like to thank all of our cinema folks out there for rocking with us. We will see you next week. This was Back to the Classics right here on Beat Network, right here on iHeartRadio. Peace.